who passed away. His death taught him how to live life, and he is dedicating today's speech to Palash. Ankur Bora. Once more I saw the star. Once more I saw the star. Ankur Bora.
I grew up in an environment where words that convey painful emotions were not welcome. When a close relative passed away, everyone around me, after the mourning period was over, seemed to act as if she had never existed. People would say, you should get over it by now, or it's not healthy to dwell on it. Sadly, I never questioned that attitude and accepted it unconsciously. The culture we have never allowed people to feel anything related to death. The word dying is almost synonymous with useless. We have reached such a level that we do not even care for our near or dear ones, while we were easily carried away by actors or celebrities. But then my best friend passed away, which changed me completely. In the imminence of death, I understood how to live life. Palash was my childhood friend. We went to the same elementary, middle, and high school. Although eventually we went our separate ways, he joined the state civil service and I settled here in Texas. We kept in touch with each other. In the latter part of 2019, I received a letter from him. Dear brother, I was taken aback by the unusual way he addressed me. When I finished reading, I felt completely numb. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. My immediate reaction was, why him? Why fate was so cruel? He had a loving wife, a teenage son and daughter. He was an upright man, ready to serve anyone in his capacity as a government servant. I was overcome with despair. I didn't know what to do. But my wife reminded me that I could not drift away from my friend and I needed to act. Thus, immediately, I contacted an reputed oncologist at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, and she immediately called me back. Armed with her response, I called Palash, offering all the support possible and suggesting that he should come to Houston immediately for treatment. Although my friend was too weak after the long and prolonged chemotherapy, he was willing to give it a try, and he promised me that he would come to US for treatment. After talking to my wife, we charted a plan, checking the logistic for their stay in Houston, preparing them for possible consular interview at US Embassy, and arranging for their travel itinerary. Houston is roughly 300 miles away from Dallas, where we live. As such, we decided to reach to our community since Palash would be treated there. Although a few responded, I was disappointed by people's apathy. Around that time, a popular Bollywood actor had died, and there was a huge controversy surrounding his death. Some journalists provided, called his girlfriend, actress girlfriend, of providing him drugs, thereby causing his death. Then it snowballed into a media trial as media houses began feeding speculations and rumors against her. Soon, people were consumed by the debate. Some of my friends surrendered their daytime hours watching the news and then taped it so that they could watch more at night. They flooded my phone with instant messages with heated arguments for or against her. I was puzzled. How could they spend days and weeks of their time addicted to someone else's drama? I wanted to ask, why do you bother about all this distraction? Is it the most important thing in your life? In the midst of all this, my friend's medical condition was turning worse. I had been eagerly waiting for his arrival, but then I received the terrible news that disease had overtaken him. My friend would spend his final days at home with his near and dear ones. For more than a week, I did not have the courage to call him, but finally when we spoke, we had a long conversation. My friend was talking about his teenage son and daughter. What would they do without him? My heart reached out to him. I promise I will be part of his family. In the next month, whenever I called, his wife was in tears as Palash's condition deteriorated rapidly. But when he spoke, I felt a sense of calmness in his voice. Rather than talking about worries or fears, he was recalling my childhood days. Palash had been a poet since my school days, and he was reciting some of the poems to me. For all that happened to him, his voice was calming and inviting, as if in the face of imminent death, he understood life. Despite the moments of that verdict, Palash was talking only about the gifts of life as he continued to read books, wrote letters to his long-distance friends, and devoted his time loving others. In his final days, he made most of his time and published a book of poetry. I was struck with the irony. While others continued with the same heated arguments, fighting with each other, chasing matters in the online forum, my friend devoted to creating something that gave him purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. The death of my friend was conveyed by someone in the online forum. People started pouring condolence messages, and the majority of them was RIP. While they were trying to be well-meaning, I was pained by the matter-of-fact attitude. And I wrote back, no, my friend's death was not merely a three-letter word. In his death, I understood what matters most. My friend helped me to realize what are the important things in life. And even in his death, I felt his presence and his love. A part of my friend stays with me, and I shall carry his message forever. Madam Toastmaster.